What do you know about Kenya? Kenya is a beautiful place, but most of the time we don't hear any good things. We just hear bad things, that people are starving, that there are wars all over Africa, that there's nothing good. But this is the totally opposite of what's actually is happening, Like there's so much more than we know from the media, than there's what we hear from other people that have never traveled to Africa, and especially Kenya. So let me share my experience with you after living here for the last 6 months. So I moved to Kenya in January of 2023, so this year, and just to make a step like outside of the regular life and to see how life on the other side of the world is. I made the totally right decision to make this move because these 6 months has been showing me so much, and I've learned so much more than I could ever imagine living here in Kenya. Let me share my experience with you. My name is Marvin. I moved 6 months ago to start a business here in Nairobi, Kenya, and here are 5 things I learned about Kenya and Nairobi while living here for the last 6 months. So the first thing I really think is very, very special, very unique, is the kindness of the people. In Germany sometimes people are very into their own world and don't really you can't really connect with many people there, because everything is more structured, and people go from A to B and just focus on doing their own stuff. And I experienced the total opposite here in Kenya, because from the first day I arrived I was so welcome here in this place, and I really felt like home from the beginning. After my first week I didn't even miss anything in Germany besides my family, of course, but everything else I felt so much more happiness and so much more joy. And the people are really, really a big part of it, it's very crucial that people are kind in a place where you live, because your environment forms you, and if you're constantly surrounded by negative people, you also become negative or focus too much on the negative things. I feel here, because people spread so much kindness and they welcome you really, really much, and they just give you their kindness, and they answer your questions. You can have honest conversations with anyone, I speak to so many random people I never met in my life before. So basically just to strangers everywhere, in cafes, and I don't know, every location I meet some people, I just talk to them, and you just have some conversations with them, or just ask them some kind of questions, and they're always very supportive, very supportive. They give you all the answers you need, or even some of the people I started talking to, I just asked a simple question, and then we had 2 hours conversation about whole life and so many things, and they shared their experience with me. And I feel this is something very, very special and very unique, this is not everywhere like this. Your environment forms you, so being around so many kind people and people who are actually genuine to you and don't want to harm you in any way makes your perspective on life also very, very different, and you want to share also more kindness and more love, and you just want to be nicer, and I never want to miss this feeling again, it's a very, very interesting thing what I just realized after living here for this long, for the last 6 months basically, so that's one very important thing. Another really, really nice thing I realized in the last 6 months is that not only people are kind, but also the quality of life is very, very different than back in Germany, Europe, or in the Western world, let's say, because there's first of all a lot of nature. I will tap into this later on, but you have so much nature. Even if this is a big city with 5 million people, you have so much nature. It's so green, and you have so many nice places to go to. You have nice food, nice cafes. You have really many things to do here in the city, and it feels like I have so much more nice things to do than when I was living back home. So I really arrived here in terms of the quality of life, I really adjusted to this, and I really don't want to miss out on all these opportunities you have here, all these nice restaurants, nice cafes, nice spots to hang out. They also have many nice shopping malls. It feels like there are endless malls here in the city. You have basically one mall is bigger than the other one, and you can really buy buy everything you need, you know, like I'm really not a person who goes into the mall all the time to get stuff or like to do something there. But it's still incredible, like something what I just did not expect from Kenya or like from Nairobi, but also because I didn't have any. I made some research, but like you don't know until you really like see how it looks, you know. So it's a really interesting thing to see like these kind of quality malls and like so impressive, so big, and like so many nice shops there, and like you can really buy everything you need there, you know. So it's a really big difference between the perception you always get from the West, or like from the media, or from people who never traveled here, or like who are worried that you don't even have food here, or who are worried that you don't have, I don't know, that you don't have anything here, that you sleep in the bushes or something, you know. Like, and when you come and see everything here and really experience life and like hang out with the locals and like hang out with all these nice Kenyan people, it's like you really get a very different perspective than like the things you thought that you know, than the actual like truth is, you know. So I'm really shocked about this, to be honest. It's like a new way of life, and even if I tell some people back home about some of these like impressive things I see, it's like some of them still hesitate without even knowing or like seeing anything like this, you know. So I really like, I'm glad that I could spend these 6 months so far, and also like the next few months or like years, whatever, here in Kenya, and to learn much more about the place and like the people and the culture and like everything, you know. And another big advantage is the mobile money. It's called M-Pesa. M-Pesa stands for mobile. M-Pesa means money in Swahili. So it's a very advanced technology, to be honest, you know. Like I never experienced this kind of like easiness when it comes to payments, you know. Like let's say you can really pay everywhere with this. You can send money all over Kenya with this, and it also like opens up the door for many local people who were not able to have a bank account, but with this M-Pesa they have the option, without having like a bank account, just to have a basically bank account connected to their mobile number, that they can make transactions from there, so they can support their family in like the areas where there's not, or like where they have no options for bank accounts, like in the rural areas. And it's just made life so much easier, you know. You can make transactions within like seconds, like everywhere you go, in the supermarket, in the malls, and even like in the small corner shops you can buy stuff. Even you can just buy one banana, so there's no limit for the transactions. Like they can be as small as like, I don't know, 5 cents or something, or like 1 shilling sometimes. So it's a very interesting thing to see, like, because it's also something I would say no one knows in the Western world, and they think that they are so far ahead. And like when I compare, sometimes even in Germany you have to go to some shops. If you go to some shops and you want to pay, they don't even accept like your card, because they want you to pay in cash, you know. So like if I compare this to what Kenya has to offer, it's like an incredible technology, you know. It said it opens so many, it makes life much more convenient, but it also helps so many people who don't have access to bank accounts. So it's such a big thing, what really like many countries need, and like what could support them in like many ways, you know. Like it opens doors for everyone basically. So it's a very advanced technology, what I didn't expect to see here. And also, actually, I've been here for 6 months, I said this already, but for the last 6 months I didn't even carry any cash. Just like, I guess one single time I was carrying cash, because I was changing just the cash I had with me. So I changed this to like Kenyan shillings, but after this I never ever had the need to get cash anymore, because you really can pay anywhere with this app, with this M-Pesa. And the cool thing about it is, even as I said, it gives everyone access to it, and you don't even need to have a smartphone for it. You know, you can just use your like old phone and like just make the transactions with this, or via SMS. So it's like a very cool technology, what helps many people in every way of life basically, you know. So like very impressed by this, very impressed by this, you know. Another thing many people have concerns about when they move to a new country, or like especially when you tell them that you move to Africa, or like how Africa is the safety part. And I have to admit, because I was living for too long, like my whole life in Germany, let's say I didn't have like many concerns about it, but it was in your head at some point, because many people were talking about it and like were saying, are you safe there? And like, do you have this, do you have that, and whatever, like, so you think about it when you come here, and like in the end, so in the last months, I never experienced any feeling that I wasn't safe. Of course you have to be conscious about your environment and your surroundings and where you hang around, when you hang around and everything. But I would say most of the time I never felt any kind of worries that I am not safe here, So let's say even like I like to walk when it's dark, or sometimes sometimes it's happened that I was walking when it was dark. I was even in the CBD, what is the central business district, where like it's a little bit more chaotic than everywhere else. And I still, as I said, you have to be conscious, but I still didn't feel the feeling of not being safe. So I was always like very calm here, and like, because the people, they make you feel calm. Of course there are bad people everywhere, so something can happen to you at all the time, like somewhere, but this can happen in every country in the world. So I'm not really pressed about like, I don't know, like fearing every day when I go outside or something, So it's like, as long as you are conscious about the environment, where you move, when you move, and like, I don't know, just the regular things you do anyways, anywhere, like wherever you live, then I don't see any issues with this, So especially in Nairobi, it's like you have some kind of security. The last thing I want to talk about from my past experience is the nature within Nairobi. It's actually what I was started talking about in the beginning as well, but what I cut off. So the nature is very, very incredible. I said like it's a big city. I always compare it to New York. Actually, it's like a big city with many opportunities, and many people, but it's still very, very green. You have everywhere. It's like you have beautiful flowers. You have trees everywhere. You have like nature parks everywhere where you can go hiking, where you can do picnics, where you can hang out with your family, where you can do basically everything, and just to reconnect with the nature and just to calm down from all the busy work you do and the stress. So it's something I also didn't know, or like didn't expect from a big city like this. Usually, like it's mainly concrete and like many buildings, many people, many cars, much traffic and all of this, but here it's like all of this, but just you have so many options to go in nature. The most famous one is the Karura Forest, for example, where I've been like many times. They even have a waterfall in there. They have like a 10 kilometers like walking path where you can go biking and everything. But there's also the Ololua Trail, also a beautiful one. And then there's the Arboretum. So yeah, you have like many options to go out in nature here in Kenya, or like in Nairobi at least, and just to reconnect with the nature. Like just to be at peace, just to enjoy like the moment for a little bit, like it really helps you. And you have even many options to see like animals if you're into animals, like even in like some of these parks you have like just monkeys hanging around there, like living there. And you have the option to go to the giraffe center where you can like feed giraffes and like touch them. You have like snake park, you have like the national park right outside of the city. So it's like you have so many incredible opportunities here for every area of life, like if you are into like just good quality of life and being in nature, and or like making some business here, you have really every kind of opportunity in a big city like this, like it's also a very fast growing city. So I'm really impressed, like as I said, the expectations, I didn't come with many expectations. I just was like, okay, let's see how this goes. Let's just try it out and like experience life on a different continent for a little bit, or like let's see how this goes and how long I want to stay. But I'm really happy I made the decision, like as I said, the nice people, they have like such good quality of life, they have many opportunities, so much nature here, and like there's so much more I could talk about. But these are like one of the major things I really realized that are really very like what we don't know about, in the West, but what is actually like amazing like to know about, So let me know in the comments what you want to know, and then I will make a video about it and we can talk about it. Yeah, so thank you so much. Subscribe, like, and see you in the next video.